12th of June, 1982. It's been a really nice day. Last night, John graduated from high school, and it's been a relaxed day because school's out and all the grades are out. And hello, Buck. So I thought tonight I would kind of walk along and see how things look from the camera. This probably will seem a little jumpy as I'm walking, but it's almost impossible to do this if you were on a tripod. We recently cut down a couple of trees, and I think the yard really looks nice. And as you can see, we've got a fair amount of wood laid in for next winter. We'll have a little 360 here. See where we've been. John, I think, is still over there lying on top of the chaise lounge. He went to the all-night party last night and got in about 4 o'clock, and so he's been kind of tired today. We're here, what is my favorite part of the lot, back here by this back pond. It's a nice place to come back and relax. Down here is the Stephen Bernheisel Memorial footbridge. So, shall we try Steve's footbridge? Take a little look back again. Try to show you what kind of a nice spot this is. Jen made this little seat here a while back, and a couple of years ago. This gives us really quite a bit of water to irrigate from. As you can hear the sound of the pump, and this is the pump that gives us our irrigation water. Getting in here by Jan's greenhouse, where she spent lots of time this spring. She's made several flats of things for us and also for others. She's been planting some of the flats she's made today and putting into these planters to be put on the upper deck and also downstairs. Our rhododendrons were fairly pretty this year, although they weren't as pretty as they usually are. We had so many rains that some of the buds molded. The 14th of July, we're spending this weekend in Fort Bragg. During the previous 2 weeks, I was up in Lewiston helping paint and getting Dad's house ready for sale. And this week, we're preparing to go to China. We're going to leave at 1:30 a.m. next Saturday from Oakland. Jan's mother is also here, and she's been helping us, and it's been a nice visit with her. While we were gone, many of the Jan had set out before we left have grown a lot. They really look beautiful, so I thought I would update the videotape home and garden a little bit and show you a few of Jan's lovely flowers along here. Green so that they come out better. The last several feet that I took here around, the greens are faded out a lot, and I changed the color adjustment on here, I hope, but might make a difference. Here's Steve's new car that we picked up for him up in Salt Lake. don't. You get in front of it. 4th, 1984, and this is the annual daffodil blossom session. In 84, the reason I'm taking the picture of the back of the house here is that we're anticipating some changes here in the next few months. We're thinking some of glassing in this back deck and removing a part of the upper deck. If all goes well, we may make a greenhouse out of part of this deck and then glass in the rest of it. Only a plan. But if I don't get behind this camera before that, at least we'll have a before and after shot. The afternoon, and I'm just taking kind of the annual view of the yard. Probably if you were to live here, you could see very little changes, but perhaps by going back for a few years, why one could see some difference. At least wood pile changes from each year. It's a lot of pleasure. It's fun to take care of it. I would certainly hate to leave it. I might mention a little bit about our family. Of course, Dave has been married for, it'll be 4 years next August, and Jason will be 3 next August. Steve is a junior at BYU, and baby John is in Erechim, Brazil, on a mission. Named entrobuses, the entrobis as we often affectionately call them, and tonight I'm going to go over to their house and shoot a new segment of their family. I began this one time last summer, and we've had 2 or 3 segments, and since then JB has had a little difficulty in that he has now Steve the Stub. And the reason I'm going over tonight, pretty soon he's going to have Leonard the Leg. And so I suggested this morning that JB may update his life before the latest member of the family arrives. And so that might help us to keep this day straight. Last year we did a lot of clearing on here, and I remember a long time ago when we were first anticipating buying this lot, why we thought we might like the lot just east of us, and because it would have been easier to work on. And now we're really glad we have this lot because of this creek that provides a lot of variety to it, and also provides water for us in the summertime to irrigate with. Of a old fort, I think, that Dave built. Certainly one of the kids, but I think it was Dave. In fact, I'd even forgotten about it. And I was talking about old tree forts the other day, and somebody had mentioned that they had noticed this up here. To build forts all over this place. We lived several hundred yards west of here, where the McMillans now live, and they had this particular lot where we now live, all covered with old forts, and you can still find nail holes in the trees and ladders on the side where they used to go up and build. If their mother had known probably the location of all these, probably she would be kind of upset. So it's nice that she didn't know in those days. It goes back, gee, I guess about 15 years. Jan and I one day had spotted it along the beach up by 10 Mile, and we had wanted one to go into a similar place at the other house. And so anyway, we mentioned it to Pat, and the old Pat came to the rescue, and then he worked for the cable television company, and so he got his truck, which had a winch on it. And so, gee, we had to go, well, it seemed like maybe a quarter of a mile from where you can drive up there on Seaside Beach. So anyway, we drug it part way, and then he would have to get a new line on his winch, and finally we got it up to the road. And I think Pat had his truck down there, but it was so badly waterlogged that we lifted on. And so fortunately we found a couple of big old boards down there, and somebody was down there with a small cat, and so they merely pushed it on, and then we had it in the McMillan's house, in front of that house for a while. And then when we sold the house, we expressly indicated in the sales agreement that it was not included in the sale. And a couple of years later, after we built this house, we moved it over. So much for the story of the old piece of driftwood. This head came from Montana, up in the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation, where my cousins live in eastern Montana. And this particular area of our yard is what I kind of call my heritage wall. And in addition to the old head is an old signal tree and a double tree, and then I've got several pulleys. Then just to the left of the old collar, I have a beat knife that was one of my beat knives in the old days when I used to thin beets, or I should say top beets. Up at the top of there is a branding iron, and that didn't come from our farm, but it came from this area in Montana. My cousin's husband Matt gave it to me. Plus there are a few old bottles around. This is kind of fun to watch. Nobody else pays much attention to it. Taken Character State Park, and what I'm now focused on are some harbor seals. You can see they nearly always bask themselves in the sunlight. just jump off and check out. These were more prime. You could use some of those. We edited it. I'll get it. In 1984, and Max and Al 11 are just putting the last piece of glass in. And what I'm showing you here is the west end of our new sun porch, as we call it. They've been working on this now for a little over a month, and now that the glass is enclosed, then we can go ahead and put the doors on and start finishing it inside. What you're looking at here is, as I said, the west side, and it'll be Jan's new greenhouse. Taken from our new sun porch, and you're looking through what will become the door. And in this area, it'll be a French door, and will open both ways inside. Then it will lead out onto the deck that you can just see a little bit of. We built a new deck out about 8 feet, kind of a little L-shaped. And now I'm panning to the south and looking through the glass and looking out into the rest of the yard. And now I'm going a little further west, and you can see the end. This will be Jan's greenhouse. We've put a partition between that part and the rest of it. The space that you see there will be a Dutch door, and then right there on the other side of the old picnic table will be some lighted shelves for one thing or another. We'll put a couple of fluorescent tubes in there. Going a little further behind the rolls of paper there, and lower below that window and below that light that you can see hanging will be a kind of a wood box. It might be too nice for a wood box. In fact, I saw it out to Max's house last night. It's really nice. They are really pros when it comes to building cabinets, and so it'll extend about 8 feet. So if we want to, we could put wood in it. Also, we'll have some kind of a mat on there so we can have a nice nap in the sun. As you can see here below the kitchen window, he's making a cabinet that will have all three shelves, and then the top will extend out below this window, and then it'll also go inside of the window, and then we could use that to serve. And then we're going to take this window out and replace it with a wood framed window that will again open both ways, so it can be left open if we want it, and kind of a French window, I guess. Messy now, of course, but this is the sliding glass door that leads into the dining room, and this is going to be replaced by another French door that will open in both directions into the solar porch, or the sun porch as it's called, and so that on a nice day we can leave it open both ways, and it'll also, I think, look better being wood framed. And the same thing will be true over here with the patio door leading into our bedroom. That will be again replaced with a wood framed French door, and it will open up into the solar porch, the sun porch. Will become the Dutch door between Jan's greenhouse and the rest of the sun porch, looking down to the easternmost wall. And we really didn't know what to do with this wall. We did want to have a window, but yet we did want to have some degree of privacy. So now it's sheetrocked, and we probably will paint it. Someday it could be wallpapered, even paneled, so right now we're just kind of deciding what to do with it. The southern wall, of course this is the border of where the deck used to be, and as you can see it's all glassed in except for this space for the door, and that'll be done in the next couple of days. You can also see the new deck that we built out. We haven't decided yet whether to put a railing, but if we do, it'll be just there on the east end. We want to keep the other open so that it doesn't obscure the view of the rest of the lot. From what will become Jan's greenhouse, looking south into the lot, so you can kind of see the view. What she plans to have here is built a couple of lattice shelves for her plants to be grown. And then she's also going to put some kind of watering system so that when she's gone, it'll be on a timer so that it can water her plants. Also here in the greenhouse she'll have a blower so that if it gets too hot it'll be controlled by a thermostat to get rid of some of the excess heat. The wall of what will become a Dutch door there between our greenhouse and the rest of the solar porch, the sun porch, toward the garage, looking north, and they've made some cabinets and a sink for Jan. This will be a place where she can work and plant her seeds and play with her flowers and so on. Kind of major modifications. We used to have a long deck, upper deck right here like we have in the front. However, we couldn't leave that because it would drain, right into the sun porch. So what we had to do is get some sheet metal on the bottom of there and then make a drain so that when it rains that would drain down into the pipe. It'll go under the deck. And then later on, we're going to put some of the we'll put some of the railing that was up there around there. So it's much shorter than it used to be, and now you can go out of either one of those doors, one leading from the family room and one from. Here's looking from the south, looking northeast to the back of the solar porch, the sun porch rather. New deck that we've built, and we're going to put some steps right off this corner going west so that it doesn't obscure any more of the view. And as I said, we may put a railing on this end, just for, or I should say the east end, just for so people can sit down, but not to obscure the view. The whole back end of the house, and you can see the sun porch in reference to the rest of the place. It's 1984, and we're just getting ready to take off for Salt Lake. Tonight we're going to drive to Sacramento, and then on to Salt Lake and Bountiful and other places the next day. During the last week, and since I took pictures the last time of the sun porch, why they've done quite a bit, including they have this French door installed that you can see here, and also they put in these big old fans, and so I thought I might record just a little spot here to update the state of affairs. As you can see down here on the bottom, they have the plywood, so as soon as we get home, we're going to put Steve, hopefully, in charge of the tile and get it all wound up. Greenhouse, and this is looking toward the garage, and this is a cabinet that Max has built for Jan. And this will be kind of a work place, and there'll be a sink here. This will be nice. A door that will go up from some steps outside. This is in the side of the greenhouse portion of the sun porch. Through the corner of the greenhouse onto the property, the lot. It's a beautiful day. This is Friday the 13th. When we got home, it was probably high in the 80s here on the sun porch, and in fact, Max and Alan had the front door open and the fans on to affect a little circulation. It was just installed today, and this will be a lighted cabinet. There'll be some shelves on it and or in it, and then we can put various things. There'll be glass shelves, and then there'll be a couple of fluorescent tubes in the top for illuminating various things. And it will be built up, and it will be about 8 feet long and about 3 feet wide, and we'll keep wood and kindlings, etc. And then the exhaust from the dryer will be boxed in so that it will go out underneath the deck, and then we'll put a mat and some pillows and so on. It'll be kind of a nice little place to perhaps have a nap in the sunlight. Both of the sliding glass doors, the one from the dining room and the one from the living room, and these will be replaced, as I said earlier, with a French door like I just showed you here in the front. Last night the glass wasn't in of the French door on the back, and so it was a little cool. First time I think I turned up my electric blankie to 9 last night. But you can have some idea now what the outside looks like. In conclusion, when we are back in about a week from now, why the rhododendron should be in full bloom. It's just beginning to open up now. This is always a nice time of the year because most of our rhododendrons bloom within about a month. 13th of June. In the morning, Jan and I are leaving for Watsonville to see some of our family. It's kind of the Rosenloff reunion. Steve will be coming down on Saturday, and Dave and Debbie, I think, are leaving today, and they probably will be there when we get there tomorrow night. So that at least Dave and Debbie might see what we've done since they had seen the last episode of the solar porch. I thought I would shoot this tonight. Even if no one is particularly interested, why, at least we'll have a record here on our own tape. I've shot some others as we've progressed through the project. We began this around the 1st of April. The carpenters, Max and Alan Levitt, had completed their job a month and a half ago. However, our part has gone a little more slowly. Steve and I laid the tile, and we were through that a couple of weeks ago, and during the last 2 or 3 days, Jan and I, mostly Jan, have been laying the tile. I should say grouting the tile. This is a bigger project than we had imagined. A friend of ours said that it was therapy, and if this is therapy, why I don't want that kind of therapy, although it's going pretty well. Yesterday we had some instruction from Mel Dodge, who is a kind of our teacher, and he had helped us lay that out in the first place. Anyway, this is the back of the solar porch, what was formerly the deck, and you can see a little new deck here. I'll just zoom in just a little bit here, and this is a French door and the entrance into the place. It looks a little messy at the moment. You see a pile of imperfect tiles there. We can use them for some that we still have to cut, but we haven't removed those yet. Yeah, west entrance. In fact, this goes into Jan's greenhouse. You can see the rather high steps here. The other clutter that you see here in the foreground is a tile saw that we haven't rigged up yet, so hopefully we'll spruce the area up a little bit. But anyway, this step goes into the area that was once just concrete and entrance into the garage. We filled this in to the level that the deck used to be, and so the Jan has a greenhouse that it's about 20 feet by 10 or 11 feet. Is looking south in Jan's greenhouse, and here in the foreground you can see some of her flats. She has several flats of flowers that she's planted from some of the seeds that she has collected from last year.